Welcome to the Diary 101 podcast. I am your host, Akakandelwa Kandepwe, also known as Aka. For a minute there, I had to think what my name was. Interesting. Today's guest is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite mentors. I think that most of the stuff I do is related to him in some way, and he's also my backup plan for a lot of stuff every time I need something. But anyway, he's the founder of Peza Foods, a Zambian company championing traditional and forest foods, including legal game meat. If you've ever heard of the legal game meat conversations, I know I had my other friend Chole here, but there's always this campaign of legal game meat. And if you follow us, me and my friends, you know we always talk about buy from Peza Foods. Today we're honored to have the founder and CEO of Peza Foods. So with that being said, hi Julius. Hi Julius, how are you?
Hi. I didn't notice that on mute. Hey. This age thing.
I can't wait. I already told you what I'll do.
Anyway,
well, Julius, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for inviting me again to feature on the podcast.
Yes. I forgot to mention that you're one of my first guests. So I'm so delighted that I convinced you to come back. It wasn't easy. I've been asking for months, but I'm so grateful that you're back here again. The podcast has turned to, so I am so excited to have you, who was one of my first guests here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a good thing. At least that also shows I'm one of the first people to come on the show this year, since the year just began. Yes,
I think you're like one of my third or my second recording this year. Which is a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's still early, so it's still a good thing, and shows that what we are doing is being recognized. At least it's making sense.
When you look back to your life, did you ever imagine the life you have built now in terms of your business, or did you have another path lined up for yourself?
How can I put this? So the thing is, I used to think that maybe I'll work for the NGOs. Yeah, these, international NGOs and everything. So I used to think that that's where I would work, and I would go I'd climb up the NGO sector, the ladder, and, until working for these international NGOs, whether based in Zambia or outside. That's the way I used to look at it, because my first orientation was with the NGO sector in terms of work environment. So even the people I got to know as what you may maybe call your the people you're looking up to and everything like that, it was people in the NGO sector. So I was convinced that I would end up in the NGO sector, but life happened, and here we are. I'm in the business sector.
You're in the business sector and thriving. I think you're one of the few people that has inspired my business life, because you and I always have very insightful conversations, and you always just tell me the truth, point blank, but you're always kind about it because it's me. What inspired Peza Foods?
Well, now that I look at it, for me, I think there's what is called as entrepreneurship of necessity. Or you put those two words, whether one is the front or the other, but the meaning will still be almost the same. Necessity and entrepreneurship. So what this means is that you become an entrepreneur not because you've always wanted or you are passionate about what you want to start or the business that you're doing. That is in the initial phases, of course. You become an entrepreneur because you need to survive at that particular time, and you start thinking of ways of which you can make yourself, more productive and earn a living and everything like that. So that's how I ended up opening Peza. So the thing is, the year that I registered Peza, I was pushing for a scholarship to go to UK. And I was pretty much convinced that I stood a good chance and I'll be picked. So I was among the few people actually that made it all the way to what they call the finals, the interview stage. But then when the results came out, I wasn't shortlisted. I think that was on 24th June 2021. And I was devastated. But I just had to comfort myself within a few days, you see, so that, you don't, keep on crying over spilled milk. So that was 24th June. And then early July, I thought about opening a business. I've always wanted to do something in the food sector, but not from a business point of view, but I just knew that I would always find myself in the food sector. So that's how the idea of Peza came up. And then later that year in September, I had it formally registered. And I started trading slowly, like from home. Yeah, and then the following year, we opened the shop. That was 2022, 8th March.
I know, I was there.
Yeah.
I always think your business is our baby. Like we saw it.
Yeah, it has a lot of hands that came together to just support it.
Yeah, it's a community project, just like my business. Why did you focus on Julius? Why did you focus on traditional and forest foods?
So actually, I never even wanted to do this forest and traditional. I think this came as a by the way thing. So when I opened Peza, the first thing that I wanted to do was to go into manufacturing, making of tomato paste. That's what we used to make. And I used to make that, like I would do samples, give a few friends and stuff like that for them to taste. But then I later on realized that manufacturing or production requires a lot of money because it is capital intensive and there's some equipment that you need to buy. There's also the levels of hygiene are also very high. The standards that you need to meet are very high. So you really need to have a proper system because that's food that you are producing for people. So whilst I was doing that, my older brother just passed me an idea as one of those things that, by the way, things. So I was like, this is your business. Is it possible or is it okay for you if you can order some gill meat? Then you sell as you are still trying to grow the business. So I said, okay, no problem. And that's how he oriented me on the process of applying to Zawa. But I think, I don't know if it was Zawa. Yeah, no, by then it wasn't Zawa. It had the current name, which is Department of Wildlife and National Parks. So we applied to the director's office. They gave us the go-ahead, and I started selling gill meat. And then from there, through listening to customers constantly and also getting feedback from stakeholders, we slowly started increasing our list of products that we are selling. So from the same tomato paste, we then included gill meat. We started to include caterpillars. Then we did some vegetables, dry. Then sometimes people would come and pitch to say, your product is forest or traditional. We think it can go well with such a product. Would you like to try it? Then we'd buy a bit of that product, just a few packets or a few pieces. Then we'll try in the shop. we see the reaction. Some products we've continued until now. Some would discontinue based on the feedback. So that's how we ended up like growing our catalog to where it is now, to where we have, I think we have, it should be like 50 or, okay, to be on the safe side, let me just say 50 plus different kind of products or names of products that we have in our store. And mainly this is traditional and forest foods. Yeah.
I like how when you started your business, you're not sure what you were going to do, and you kept stumbling upon a few stuff and taking advice and ideas from other people, feedback to enhance your business. I heard you talk about game meat, and I'd like us to dive a little bit more about it, because I think if you're like me from the village a long time ago, we used to eat game meat. But for you
long time. When you say long time ago, what do you mean? You mean like you are 50 years, 60 years, or what do you mean?
Julius, I mean 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's better just say 10 years ago, not long, because when you say that, you make it sound as if you fought for Zambia's independence. Yeah, anyway, let us continue. Yes, a long time ago when you were saying in the village, what happened?
When I was younger, we used to eat game meat. But one thing I have realized with your company, Peza Foods, is you always emphasize on you supply legal game meat. So I'd like to understand what the difference is and how the market is in I would say, the game meat industry, for lack of better terms.
Okay. So the thing is, even when you apply for a permit, you're applying to sell. It's like two phases. There's permit to own animal of game. The other one is permit to sell game meat. So the thing is, the meat that we sell, like at Peza, is legal in the sense that we source it legally. By that we mean it comes from sources that are traceable, and these are genuine people who have not stolen the meat, to put it plainly. So mainly our suppliers are game ranches. So we deal with game ranches directly, and if you are not, we deal with the independent hunters. So independent hunters, these are individuals or small companies that go to these game ranches and buy meat, a lot of it in bulk. And then from there, they will start selling it at wholesale to game meat traders like us. So that's how it works. So we differentiate ourselves from the black market, from the way we package our meat, and also attaching the permit, because if you walk in our shop like anytime, you are going to find permits for our meat. So each and every meat that we have in stock, there is the permit, and it can always be traced because we have receipts for everything. So when they sell to us, we have receipts. And also we are working with other institutions that help us in ensuring that we are put in the open in people's eyes as a legal game meat trader. So there is WAPAS, which is Wildlife Association. No, that's WAPAS. So W is Wildlife, A is Association, P is Producers, of Zambia. WAPAS, that's Wildlife Association, Producers Zambia, something like that. And then we have, this is not a game campaign, which is an initiative by WCP, Wildlife Crime Prevention, is an NGO whose among its main mandates is to promote the consumption of legally sourced game meat in Zambia, and supports us with branding materials, featuring us on the radio station, and also ensuring that we have stickers to put on our products so that people are able to see that it is legally sourced meat. These are the main institutions, and of course also the Department of National Parks and Wildlife is also a partner in that. That's where we go and get a permit. So each time we have meat, we have to go there, we apply, and we're given the permit, and then we start selling the meat. Yeah.
That's so detailed. It shows how you're really in this industry. I know that I have seen this is not a game. I have seen this is not a game campaign because of what you and Chole do. And I think it's the one thing that I am more familiar with, but it's so great to learn about the other organizations that work to preserve wildlife and create a safe space for game meat, for us who eat game meat. Yeah, for lack of better terms, what impact does the black market in game meat do to the industry and to the wildlife?
I think it should be yesterday or the other day. I was just watching a clip of done by Comaco. It's an organization that mainly works, I think, from Eastern Province. So, but one of their projects for beekeeping, I think they get to recruit people who are poachers and everything, like engage them in beekeeping. And when that guy mentioned the number of animals he used to hunt or slaughter in a month, I was shocked. That's a lot of meat, because we don't even buy such many animals a month. Because I was saying he would poach about, on average, 14 animals a month. And when the animals was mentioning warthog, kudu, those are not small animals, because kudu is a big animal. So if you're doing for let's say we assume it's 10 kudus in a month, that's a lot of meat. So if you are doing that, it means that you have to sell that meat. So what you have done is now increase the abundance of the illegally sourced meat. So there is now this meat which is not bought from trusted sources, because you just store it, in short. So find that your cost is cheaper. So now these get to flood the meat on the black market, because we've had situations where customers will tell, oh, okay, your price is too high. I'm going to buy from a BCD, or there's someone who brings us bush meat. So now those become our direct competitors. So find that for us, because we have all these costs, we are running from a physical store. You have workers to pay, you have taxes to pay, you have to do all the things like paying for power, packaging materials, rent. All those things still has to be calculated. So find that at the end of the day, your cost is high, your price is higher than the black market, and you have now to compete with the guys who are selling at cheaper prices. Nevertheless, we've still been able to position ourselves in a unique way that gives us an advantage, because of the way we package our meat, the way our shop is located, and how where our shop is located, how we advertise. So all that has given us that advantage over the black market, because we also do engage our customers beyond just wanting to sell the meat to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, the right term is bushmeat. It's like, yeah, we used to eat bushmeat a long time ago. Has to be one of my favorite highlights of my childhood.
Yes, just that the others still would call it bushmeat, and there's no problem. Though as a way of distinguishing between the two, a lot of us who are selling the meat legally, we've kind of like distanced ourselves and just focused on calling it legal game meat, so that there will be that difference between legal game meat and bushmeat.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You're now in the industry and you sell legal game meat. We've talked about the back end of it, which is how it comes about, how you distinguish yourself. When it comes to the customer base, I know that a lot of us growing up did eat bushmeat, but now most of everybody have their home and they still want to enjoy game meat. How has the market target audience evolved over time? Because it's also not a cheap product to sell, or it's, for lack of better terms. I know you're going to correct me on that, but yeah.
No, those are the right terms. It's okay.
Okay.
So the thing is, game meat, just like any other product, has got its own target market, its own demographic. So most of the people who eat game meat, like our customers, we can easily guess that one, it's the people who are older. Two, it's people who have what they call these underlying health issues, or they are living with certain health conditions, or they are managing certain health conditions such as high blood pressure. They have what do you call it? They are obese. Then they are trying to reduce on their weight and things like that. So such are people who come to our shop, because besides game meat, we have these other products which people come for. So we have guinea fowls, village chickens, rabbits. We have the other thing we have now is dry fish. We have millet, sorghum, cassava, raw honey, hibiscus tea. So all these are foods which are consumed mainly by a certain group of people. The younger people like you, most they are not our customers, because one, it's the issue of finance. Like, you find the products slightly higher than what you can afford. But besides that, it's also the other issue of culture. So a good number of young people would want to go with the vibes, the trends. And the trends points to modern foods, which is, this is maybe your fast foods, your pizza, all such kind of, your burgers, such kind of foods. And I don't know if this applies, but there is also generally a reduced, what do they call it? Reduced attention span among people. So far that some people, especially young people, they have no time to cook something like for 2 hours. They have no time for that. Sitting and they are busy cooking a village chicken, they have no time for that. So find that mostly people end up now being our main customers so far is the older people with non-communicable diseases, and also traditional restaurants and hotels that serve traditional meals. Those are our customers. And yes, there's need for people to eat this. They would want to eat this, but sometimes what puts them off is the pricing, which is made worse by the black market, because find that people have been buying from the black market to tell them the prices. So for them making a switch, they find that process to be expensive. So they end up just continuing buying from the black market. So people just continue buying from the black market. But from my experience of actively being in this business for the past 4 years now, I would say the perception is changing, and we've seen more people opt to buy legally sourced game meat due to the advantages that it offers. And so far, I would say we have at least a good number of repeat customers who now depend on us to supply them with game meat.
Yeah, and I have to agree with some of the pointers you have given on who your target audience and why the younger generation isn't. I think it's true. Sometimes it's pricing, attention span. I really don't think I'd like to be in the kitchen for more than an hour. So it really does it really does make a lot of sense, and I like how that's phrased.
Yeah. It's really something which you have to consider when you are doing business, because I think that like cuts across all sectors. I'm sure it's something that even in your business is something that you can look at and see how you can then include it so that you are able to position yourself in a way that gives you an advantage.
I think about it a lot. I think it's been something that's been on top of my mind, but I also had to learn it the hard way. Yeah, I also had to learn it the hard way to say, okay, if this has to be done in a certain way, these people can't afford to do it. Only these people can afford to do it. How do I advertise myself to that target audience and not this target audience, because this target audience can't afford it, but they do need it. So yeah, it's something I'm navigating, and I think as time goes on, yeah, it will get better.
Oh yeah, that's good. I hope that happens soon.
Me too. How do you see the role of food in preserving Zambians' culture and identity?
Well, food plays a vital role in preserving our culture, because it's something that we have to remind ourselves every day, because we have to eat every day. And it is something that you can't easily ignore. So as a way of preserving our culture, we have to constantly eat foods which easily can identify us or make us stand out, to say, okay, Zambians or people from this certain region of Zambia are known for eating this product or this kind of food. For example, on our social media page, we would see some customers or some followers of our page joking and say, do you have a monkey? And then some say, oh, that's for the Bembas, blah, 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 such kind of things. It's because they are part of the people who are known to eat monkeys. But I think even Northwestern, the Kasempa people in the Kasempa region or something like that, the Kaondes. So those are things which people sometimes put in conversations, and people are able to know that, oh, this is the food which is already part of our culture. And people, like the way you said a long time ago, you remember eating game meat or bush meat when you are young. So you find that even later on in the future, you're going to remember the time you spent with your grandmother, your grandfather, and as a way of reliving that memory, you are going to maybe one day say, oh, I'm craving for game meat. I want to cook the way my grandmother used to cook it. She would cook it like this. Oh, it would come with cassava meal. She would serve it with nshima made from cassava meal. Oh, there would also be some mundambi or some dry chihuahua. So you are going to then do that. And that's how even our businesses are sustained. It is through people who come to buy from us because they've remembered a wonderful memory they shared with either their parents, their aunt, their grandmother a long time ago. So that's one way in which the culture is preserved. And then the other thing is, when you look at even, let's say, traditional markets, the Zambian middle class is growing, and they'll still want to eat foods which they can access from from the traditional markets. But what they want is a different approach in the way it is packaged, the way it is presented, where it is being sold, and all those things. So as a way of preserving our culture through food, businesses like Peza Foods, which are trading in the forest and traditional foods now, are being challenged to say, how can you then better present and package this food to people in such a way that the middle class, the upper class, or almost everyone can access it and afford it and buy it, enjoy it. So if that is done, like we can keep on going the way we are doing things, eventually we are going to play a key role in ensuring that we contribute to preserving the Zambian identity through food. For foods which we are known for, your traditional vegetables, your traditional meals like cassava, sorghum, millet, and also game meat. And of course, from Western Province, I don't know if you have eaten hopani before, but I've never eaten it. I've never seen it. Like in person, I've never seen it. I've only seen it on TV and social media. But when you write that, let's say on social media, it will like come up, people will come, start commenting and everything. And that's something that is identified with people from Western Province. We talk of Mbeba. I don't know if Mbeba, it doesn't qualify as game meat, but it can qualify as a traditional food because in terms of classification, it is under the rodents. So that is also part of the cultural identity of people from Eastern Province, because they are not shy about eating mice. So it's part of their culture, and also food. What makes it being part of our culture and also interesting is that it's not always about the food. The process in which it is also prepared is also something that can still be identified as something which is part of our culture. For example, when meat is dried, it's already part of our culture to cook dry meat with groundnuts. So that is something which people will do, and people will do that mostly when there is no maybe cooking oil. That's one way in which in Africa would cook. If we don't have cooking oil, would use groundnuts. So all those are small little bits and patterns that helps us to preserve our culture as Zambians through food. Of course, it also helps us sustain our vocabulary, the language, because we are using those traditional terms, and our vocabulary will still also be safeguarded.
I like that you have mentioned a few things that I find very important. The first one was, yes, game meat reminds me of my grandparents. I think when you're speaking and you said your grandfather and your grandma, and I was like, facts, because we did have a lot of bushmeat growing up, and just that experience in the house and everything that we used to do together, the process was good. And it's something I think even I would always be like, oh, let's do this because it reminds me of grandpa and grandma. And the other thing that you mentioned about preserving our culture, I like to think that, I don't know if I can say I'm traditional, but I like to know about my culture so much, because every time you travel abroad, I've met other countries that are so proud about their culture. And I realized how much I wasn't speaking so much about it or so much about where I came from. So one of the few things I like to do now is always ask people like, oh, do you know where you come from? Do you know the type of food that your people eat? Do you know where your village is? Not just on your NRC, but so this is something I now do to keep conversations going. And yeah, I know how a opani looks, but I don't eat one. But yeah, I have seen it. So yeah, it's good things that you've highlighted, Julius.
Yeah. And also like on the issue of identity, because the other thing is what sometimes people forget is that you may not like, or you may not want to focus more on our typical traditional foods and everything. But when you travel, people wouldn't expect you to mention pizza or burger as traditional foods or part of your food. So they would want something unique. So this is where now these our forests and traditional foods come in. The wild fruits, whether you're talking about baobab juice or baobab sweets or yogurt, whether you're talking about the caterpillars, all those are things that are part of our culture, and you can easily stand out if you're talking about Zambia, or you're talking about Zambia's identity from that perspective. It's like, you look at this conversation that is going on, the Fugu versus Siziva and the Musisi, So that's just, and it's a wake-up call, because apart from the Siziva and the Musisi, that's Western Province. What about the rest of Zambians? What is that something which they can proudly point us to say, this is our traditional attire? You see? So it extends to even food. Because even attire is supposed to go beyond that, because you can't have just one kind of a piece of clothing to wear. So it's just that we've neglected so much and we've lost ourselves in the constant transitioning from this piece of clothing to the other. So it is very important that someone pays attention and they're serious about their identity, their culture, because at the end of the day, that's what puts them, that's one thing that makes them different, separates them from the rest of the people. Yeah.
And I also think that, I know my generation is the next generation of parents. What are you going to tell your kids? I always say this to people. Where are you going to tell them they're from? Like, they're not from Lusaka. So it's something that...
You tell them they are from... everyone comes from a certain village anyway. Like,
exactly.
You can trace. But the thing also, it's a 50-50 thing. Sometimes people... if you don't pay the average attention, like, people lose. The thing is this: if you grow like someone like you who's grown up with your grandparents, you visit them and everything, certain things you take them for granted. You've just never realized that you take them for granted. For example, you're able to visit your grandparents. They'll give you the history of your parents, even telling you, no, when your father was a kid, you used to behave like this. When your mother was a kid, you used to do this, such kind of things. Or they were schooling at that school. We would prepare food for them like this. So all that is coming from your grandmother. And then the other thing also is the medium of communication. You're using local languages, Lozi, the food they're preparing and everything. But then there would be those maybe who are in the city. Their parents, they've come to the city. Maybe they don't have grandparents. They're late. They're gone. You see? And their parents, maybe they don't have any village to run to, because whichever elders they knew, they are dead. And then that makes now the people to start losing this culture bit by bit. Eventually they get to lose like almost everything. And also the other thing you're going to notice, sometimes people end up having kids who don't speak their mother tongue. Sometimes what makes that to happen is because maybe they two have married each other, are from different cultural backgrounds, and maybe they failed to meet halfway, and then they end up adopting English as the language they'll be using in the house. But all those anyway are things that are happening, but I still feel there is still room for people to accommodate other languages. If you can't agree on which local language to use for the mother or the father, at least wherever they are found, they should be able to speak the local language in that area. If you're in Lusaka, speak Bemba or Nyanja. There's no way you're in Lusaka, you can't speak Tonga, you can't speak Bemba, Lozi, Tonga. It's not just like good for the continuity of our cultural identity as Zambians.
Yeah, those are very important notes for everybody to take, I think. And my family, I think because my family is so intentional and we talk about this stuff every time, we always say the young ones have to know Lozi, so by force.
Yeah, because I don't know if you, since you have your grandmother and father alive, maybe you can even go there and do this podcast. What you do, maybe you can do matango. You know matango?
Yes. No, I can actually have my uncle. He's good at it.
So your uncle can come and then you can just agree whether, so it can be, you can do it in such a way that he's using both Lozi and English. Oh. So that sometimes they just come raw as they can be in slows, just like that. So that way people are listening to, because if you are talking about, you are doing matango and that being done in English 100%, the young people are in the cities, they will still not know the language.
Yeah.
They will know the story, but they won't know the language. So you can deliberately just do like where you are using both local language and English, so that way you have people get to, like start connecting. You finish the sentence in English or finish it in Slozi, something like that. And then eventually people will be knowing, like, okay, they will know what you are trying to say and just get a feel of what traditional stories and their wisdom behind all those stories. So I think it is something that can work and something that can help us in preserving our culture. Things like stories about how we lived or how we are supposed to live or how people live in the rural areas. Could be the governance structure, what it meant, a girl coming of age, a boy coming of age, all those things, the foods and how food was sourced, how food was processed, how food was processed or how food was preserved. Because there are certain ways, because for example, there's no refrigeration at the village, but how is food being preserved so that it is able to last the whole year or it is able to last you until the other farming season? So all those are things which for me I feel can still be covered through storytelling, through constantly communicating with one another, and also the dress code and just putting it out there.
It should be something we do, Julius. We'll table that on our next conversation, but I think it would actually work. One of my favorite things to do was matango in winter. We have our uncle. We used to call him Bomoluti. He's a teacher, so we used to call him Bomoluti, but he's Mr. Sfire. And he would always do matango. And it's one of my favorite. I never knew why we used to do that at night, but especially if power has gone and there's a brazier outside. And they used to say that you can't do it if you have maize in the field. So we only did it in winter because there was no maize in the field. I don't know what that meant, but yeah, so many rules.
The easiest on the top of my one is you do it at night because the assumption that everyone is done doing their business, and it's one way of dragging the night because there's no power. So find that you have early nights. So find that when it is just 18, 19, it is dark and it is already at night, and you can't sleep at 18, 30 or 19 hours. So what are you going to be doing till the following day? So you create activities, and that's one way of dragging the night. The other thing also is a deliberate move of bonding the family, because everyone has to come around the fire. Maybe there will be some maize or some sweet potatoes. You are roasting, you are pushing the night, you are over stories and everything. So it's one way of just ensuring that you start bonding as siblings, as a family. Yeah, so it's one way you could do that. And the reason you would do it when there isn't maize in the fields, it's because now you have time. Because if you're supposed to do the farming and everything, you won't manage time-wise. But I'm sure he can give a proper explanation other than what I've said, since he's the one, of course, telling you that. But that's just something that
No, it makes a lot of sense. And I know I'm going home anytime soon, so I'll probably see him and we'll get to talk about that. I have questions and I'll see how best I can bring him on the podcast. I've been trying to get him and my grandma. So yeah, I think it would be a great conversation.
Okay, no, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, it would. Going back to business, you mentioned something in the beginning about entrepreneurship of necessity. I'd like you to talk about this in terms of young people in the job market in Zambia, because I see a lot of young people are getting into business or a side hustle to make ends meet. What advice would you have for them?
Well, the thing is, the entrepreneurship of necessity. The thing is that one has to acknowledge that in Zambia, there isn't a lot of jobs. That's why each year people graduate, and out of all those people that graduate, not everyone gets employed. You see? So we have been having a lot of people now being left out, and the number on the street increasing. So now these people have to survive. They have to be helpful. So what that now means is that people have to find ways in which they can then create work for themselves. So we don't have jobs, but there's a lot of work that is around. What that means that there's so many things that you can start doing by yourselves and create a job for yourself and others. That's what it means when I say there are no jobs, but there's a lot of work. So a lot of work is being resourceful enough to identify what gaps are there in the ecosystem and come up with activities that will lead to creating of jobs, either for yourself or for others. So as young people, this is the time you can start, because the best time to start is now. You have one of the best resources that you could ever have, which is the energy, because you have that good health. And those are things sometimes we take for granted. Others don't even have that good health to wake up and hustle. But you have the good health, you have the brains, you've been to school, you are seeing a lot of things happening around you. So now is the time. So just start now and be consistent, be serious about it. Eventually, you are going to get somewhere, because everything that you see around you started with one step. There's no one who starts walking with 10 steps. Because even counting, you can't start counting from 100. You have to start from 1. What differs is the pace at which you are counting. This person will be counting faster, the other one will be counting slow. You see? But the bottom line is that you all started from 1, because that's where you are supposed to start from. So what is important for you to start? Just have the courage to start. Don't be afraid to fail. Failing is actually important. It's better actually to start now and fail, so that you can have the room to try again. Because if you wait until you are at a certain age, when you fail, when you're at a certain age, the loss is going to be much bigger. And you're not going to have a lot of space to start compromising and everything, because you're going to have these other responsibilities that you're going to have. Could be family, could be conditions of also maybe service, and also just as an individual. As a young person, maybe for now, it's okay for you to jump on a bus, rush to town, do 1 or 2 things and come back. But you're going to reach a point whereby a good number of your friends, maybe they are working, they have these fancy jobs, they're driving fancy cars and everything. So you jumping on a bus, going to town and you order some things and resell, would look as if, like you would feel shy, and you look as if people are going to laugh at you and all those things. So I find that now is the time, because if you do that, most of your friends are at the same level as you. So you have nothing to lose. So now is the right time to start.
I like that you mentioned that there's so much, there are no jobs, but there's so much work. And all one has to do is become very resourceful in finding the work they can do and creating that work. For others, is how somebody gets to build a business. I think that's such a solid take for me. I always try to remind myself, there's so much work to do. There's so much.
Yeah, there is always something that you can do.
There's always an opportunity out there. There's always someone that has a problem, so you can always you can solve that problem for them and they'll pay you for that. Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Julius, I'd like to know what was the turning point for you to be able to scale Peza Foods to what it is right now.
Well, I wouldn't say scaling, because we are still, we're still in our transition phase. Like, we're still transitioning. But anyway, what I would say is, the thing is, in business, you have to strive to be as unique as you can. You have to separate yourself from the competition. So for me, I've constantly been observing and seeing what is happening in the market, starting from the basics like packaging, pricing, and how you advertise and all those things. So for me, I've been very intentional and very serious about such kind of things. And what I've done is to elevate the level at which I'm doing things. I know I'm selling traditional and forest foods, but then I can still attach the professionalism and also the proficiency that is needed in ensuring that we are able to stand out from the rest and also compete with others who are selling traditional or forest foods. Because when I look at the prices that we charge for our products, it's high, and high in terms of like it's higher than beef, because game meat is on the high end. But what we've done is make the environment also look nice, package it nice, so that way people find it worth it, because someone is giving you their hard-earned money, and it is just good that you package the food in a professional way. You serve them as honesty and kind as you can, because people are giving you a lot of money and they have to get value for their money.
Okay, and I like that. I like that answer. It gives us a picture of, you've given us a picture of where you're from, where you're at. I'd just like you to talk about what some of the challenges you've experienced running Peza Foods.
Challenges are always there. We've had load shedding. We have restocking issues. Sometimes we want to buy, suppliers don't have the meat. You have to constantly ensure that everything is okay. Because the people from council, the Department of Health, they will pass through. So you have to make sure that compliance, you're also on top of the game. All those things have to be done. So it's just proper that everything is in place. But challenges are there. Sourcing especially is one of our biggest challenges, because what we sell are seasonal foods. They are not always there. So find that when they're in season, they're cheaper to buy. Once they're off season, they become expensive.
Well, I like that. Again, I really have enjoyed breaking down your business with you. I'd just like to know, what's the biggest vision for Peza Foods and the Zambian food system?
Well, our biggest vision for now is to grow Peza into a traditional market, a modern traditional market for forest and traditional foods. So, because like what I said earlier on, to say the middle class is growing and they'll still like to keep on eating traditional and forest foods, but they're more concerned with where the food is being sold from, and also how it is being handled, how it is being packaged, with all those things being the main key issues which they are considering before buying. So for us is to meet those needs in a professional way, in a decent way. So that's the dream for Peza, is to grow it to be the leading supermarket for forest and traditional foods.
Well, I'm so glad our little baby has grown so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the help.
Yeah, it was fun. I think one of my favorite memories with you is watching you grow Peza Foods, and also being able to run errands and listen to you talk. You have so much wisdom to share with me. So that's like one of my favorite memories, and always some of the activities we've done over the years, I think that have helped to experiment on knowing what type of products to offer in terms of the game meat, the traditional foods, the stands, everything we did over the years. So it's like really I look at those pictures and I'm like, we really did that. That was fun. And so I think that's also memories with you.
And time is flying by.
Yeah, it has. I feel old. But I'm still the baby in the family or in the group, so I still have time.
Yeah. You're in there, the youngest.
But so I'll remind that everybody, like, at least I'm not 30. It's a good one.
Yeah, even me, at least I'm not 30.
Of course, Julius.
Yeah, 30 is a big number. I don't know how people survive, like, being that old.
Those are big people ages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Julius, I'd like to give you an opportunity to ask me a question.
As someone in their 20s, what are you prioritizing now in your life? Money or passion?
Money. One thing I get from you specifically is how point blank you've been with me when it comes to money. You've always, I think every time I'm making decisions with clients and work in my initial years, but most importantly last year, you'd always say, go where the money is. You've volunteered enough, you've worked for free enough. You already have that experience. I think it's time for you to start making the money. And like you mentioned, I would like my 20s to be the time I invest so much in my business, invest as well personally, so that I could grow my wealth portfolio, my investment portfolio, could grow my business. I won't have the same time priorities I have now, 5 years from now. So it's understanding that I could experiment a lot in my 20s and fail. It wouldn't impact me a lot if I did the same in my 30s. That doesn't mean I will not experiment, I won't take risks, but it would be very cautious depending on what I'm doing. Maybe I have a family by then. Maybe people actually depend on the income they get from my organization and company. So yeah, I'm too small. So I think of myself, I'm too small on the hierarchy. So failing fast and failing now is one of the things. And also just making that money. Yeah.
That's good. Just stop saying you are too small in the hierarchy. Some of the business you see, they're big. They're only big from outside until when they owe you a 5 pin and they can't pay. So even you have, you are in your own league just like that. But yeah you see?
No, I hear you.
Because as long as you have a business is running, you are paying people, you have this and that. So you're far much better than, someone whose business is bigger on paper. Because some people will tell you it's big, until you get closer to some people, that's when you're going to know that, oh, okay, the business isn't as big as they said it is.
Yeah, and also I think that it's more on appearances. That's what a lot of business people focus on. And on my end, I'm really trying to make sure I build the foundation. Again, I'll go back to you. You're not publicizing Peza Foods as much. People do know it existed, but you're heavy on building the systems and building the foundation for the organization to make it sustainable. And I think that's what I want to do for my business for the next year or two, is really just building the clientele and the foundation, so that when I seemingly look big or in a different league, it's just not on paper.
Yeah, no, that would be good, because it's better to have money than likes on Facebook.
Facts. Better to have money and no one knows you.
Yeah, because there are certain businesses find that they have more likes on Facebook than money. The owner is always talking, but they don't have systems or just a business, in short, something you can call a business. Because the other thing is, if you're calling yourself an entrepreneur, having done entrepreneurship, let's say for 3 years, 4 years, there's no way at the end of the day you can say you've never run your business from January to December. Then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
There are people whereby the business will start, catches fire, and then just after 2-3 months or 6 months, that fire is extinguished, it's gone. Then they stay maybe for 3 months or so, then they start again, you see. So what is important in business is having that consistency.
And that I agree with you. Julius, for the end of the podcast, thank you so much for being a guest again. I hope you enjoyed it. My last question.
I did. It's been a while and it's been good catching up after a long time.
You should say it's been good. It's good catching up a long time on the podcast, not in our usual. I'm saying we should say it's good catching up on the podcast because we're always catching up on something.
Okay. It's been good catching up on the podcast after so many years.
Just been 2 years.
Yeah, it's on the podcast.
Okay, Julius. My last question to you is, what do you look forward to? This could be in your business, in your life, something in general. Today, tomorrow, in a year's time. What do you look forward to?
I'm an old man. I'm just looking forward to peace. Just make a peaceful life. That's I'm looking. Yeah. I'm waiting for my daughter to start working. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Oh, yay! I can't wait to meet her and see how.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Just just balancing and for me that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, well, we love Kenga here. She's a favorite.
Thank you.
Thank you for blessing us with another child, sir.
Oh yeah, second born, eh?
Yes, a second born.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Julius, this was so much fun, and as always, I'm grateful for your wisdom and the time you have made to be on this podcast. And I hope that you enjoyed the process and we got to visit some of odd conversations and talk about culture and everything in between. For everybody listening, I hope you had fun. You could actually go back to listen to Julius' first episode and listen to this one and see how far we've both come, him with his business especially. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and subscribe to our channels. With that being said, bye for now.